decades, helicopters ruled the sky as Hollywood's go-to vehicle for capturing spectacular aerial shots. But in recent years, they've been challenged by drones, which are small, highly maneuverable, and above all, affordable. So who's coming out on top in this battle for cinematic air supremacy? Variety went into the field and up in the air to find out. First, we took to the sky with second-generation movie chopper pilot Kevin Rosa II of Helinet Aviation in Van Nuys, California. The mission? Shoot an action sequence for the upcoming CBS series S.W.A.T, in which star Shamar Moore, not a stunt double, hangs out the side of Helinet's newly acquired Black Hawk military helicopter, firing at bad guys below.
Originally today we were going to use one of our Helinet heavy lift drones. We looked at the shot sequence, we looked at where the drone would have to move around the Hawk, and we decided side of safety and for what the platform could actually do, we could get more bang for the buck with the helicopter than we could with the drone. So we chose to use one of our A-Star AS350 helicopters with our shot over F1 gimbal. It opened up what we could do. We can now fly faster, we could do formation work, and we could do things we wouldn't have been able to do with a drone.
We need to be able to get in close with a really long lens, a big heavy camera, and we have to be able to go all the way around, and the wash from that Black Hawk is hardcore and would blow a drone right out of the sky and slam it onto the ground.
I've had a lot of calls for, quote-unquote reshoots where they can't get the shots with the drone because just the wind is too high. If you go out into the desert and the wind picks up in the afternoon, the drone is shut down.
But as reps from leading drone maker DJI demonstrated, a drone can do things that a helicopter can't. It can fly through trees and tight indoor spaces, swoop down like a crane, get close to subjects, follow them like a dolly, and take off like a helicopter. And it can do it all without mussing anyone's hair.
We flew through the open windows of a Toyota Tundra for a spot on a TV series. Just threaded the needle right through there. You can't fly through the windows of a truck with a helicopter, at least not more than once.
Drones also have a lower barrier of entry for both the pilot and the production hiring them. A used Airbus AS350B2 similar to this one runs about $1 million, and that's before it's outfitted for production with monitors, controls, and a camera gimbal like Helinet's shot over F1. There's also added costs for the productions hiring the helicopter, like the Teamster-driven water truck spraying down the landing zone to keep dirt and debris from overwhelming cast and crew, and the fuel truck to refill the 143-gallon tank of the Airbus and the 363-gallon tank of the Black Hawk. In contrast, a drone runs on rechargeable batteries that can be stored alongside it in a case, and the whole package fits in the trunk of a car. And speaking of cars, if you want to get into the drone business, it's cheaper than buying a used Hyundai. DJI's M600 model, which can hold digital cinema cameras such as the Red Epic and the Arri Alexa Mini, can be purchased new for $6,000 plus tax. But there is a downside to cheap.
A lot of people are getting into it and offering it to productions, but they really don't have the experience or the knowledge to do it right. But the production companies will go with them because of the price, and then they'll get burned and they'll demand to do it again.
Launched in 1987 with a single helicopter, Helinet is now one of the top aviation companies in Hollywood, with 19 choppers, the latest of which is their Sikorsky Black Hawk, which they've dubbed the Movie Hawk. But they're not immune to the winds of change in the industry.
We bought our first drone for Helinet probably about 5 years ago. It's only recently, however, that we are actually really building up our drone department.
Helinet currently has 11 drones, and they're developing their own heavy lift models through their Shot-Over subsidiary. But Burton says while 50% of their requests are now for drone work, it doesn't account for 50% of their income.
There's so much competition in the drone thing that really, it's price, you gotta keep the prices down or you don't get any jobs.
But there are certain jobs that are just too heavy for a drone to pull off.
When you start moving into the helicopter world, you end up in these gimbals that are large enough to take IMAX cameras and 3D, side-by-side reds. I could be doing 120 knots with a helicopter, 90-degree bank and following something in. We just can't do that with the drone, at least not yet.
That doesn't mean that La Rosa is anti-drone.
I always explain to people I fly both, I love both platforms. There's an overlap, and that overlap continues to increase as the technology and reliability of drones increases, but they are two different platforms that can do two different things. Today we chose this platform because it was the safest right platform to use. Had we had a shot list that required more drone-type shots that a helicopter couldn't have done, we would have had both out here.